Have y'all ever met anybody with Parkinson's that shakes uncontrollably all the time, or someone with Alzheimer's that forgets who you are? Or maybe even somebody with schizophrenia who has wild and vivid hallucinations. Today I'm going to tell you about a disease that has all three of these components to it, and it's called Lewy body dementia. Lewy body dementia is abnormal deposits in your brain that affects your mood, your sleeping, your motor skills, and things like that. My dad suffered from this disease, and it's an awful disease that affects more than 1 million people here in America. So I'm going to tell y'all a little about how we knew something was wrong, what happened in the following years, and what ultimately led to his death. The first thing that we knew is we had taken my dad to the sleep doctor because he used to fight in his dreams and act stuff out all the time. And he got diagnosed with a REM sleep disorder. And the doctor told my mom that most people who have a REM sleep disorder develop Alzheimer's or dementia in some form. And then a little while later, work called, and my dad had worked at the same place for 30 years, so he knew everything to do. He did reports all the time. You could say he was the report guy. And they said that he was struggling at work, which is unlike him. He had brought home a report one day, and it was simple addition and subtraction. You have this much money, so how much, and you spent this much money, how much do you have left? And he couldn't figure out how to do basic addition and subtraction at 60 years old. So my mom took him to their family doctor, who referred them to a neurologist, and the neurologist saw that he shuffled a lot when he walked. And then they had him draw a clock, something like this, but he wrote the numbers backwards. They also had these two pentagons that are supposed to intersect like this, and he would scribble a whole page and could not get them to intersect. So that's when he got diagnosed with Lewy body dementia. A few years down the road, he had different symptoms happen, and he would forget where the bathroom is, and he'd just pee in the living room floor. Or he would drive his car somewhere, and he'd call me and my brother and be like, I don't know where I'm at. Like, please help me. And he'd be 20 miles away from where he was at. We had to take his keys away. One of my neighbors called my mom. They found my dad hidden by a trash can, thinking that someone was about to attack him. And he would try to get out of the door. The cops had to bring him home multiple times. So we had to take all the locks off the doors. We had to hire this lady named Ann, who was a godsend, who took care of my dad. And just many things like that. Well, towards his death, he got a UTI infection, and we thought he was going to be a goner. He stayed in bed for a week. He couldn't eat. He couldn't sleep. He just laid in bed, and we had to feed him. We thought he was going to die at that point, but he held on. But after that, he could not walk on his own. He could not communicate whatsoever. And he had a weird look on his face. We had this dog named Sosa, and Sosa used to attack my dad because he just had this emotionless look on his face. Like, I couldn't even do it if I wanted to. And he couldn't communicate. He couldn't do anything. We had this machine that would carry him around to different places that he needed to go when he would have to wear diapers and different things like that. It was an awful disease. Anyways, a couple years after that, he aspirated on spit while he was asleep. And so when we found him, we knew it was going to be his last day. They called everybody to my mom's house, and we were all around him when he passed away peacefully. But in conclusion, that's Lewy body dementia. It's a terrible, awful disease that affects 1 million people. It's schizophrenia, dementia, and Parkinson's mixed. It's a slow progression where people just forget who they are. They don't know anything. They can't communicate. It's just an awful disease that I hope y'all never suffer or have to be with anybody who suffers from it.